Hello, everybody. It's CEO Jimbo, James, small business owner, trying to get a small business up and going again, really. Anyway, I'm still working on radar, and this is kind of what I came up with this week, and so on. 11:15 p.m. Got up at about 8:30 a.m. and had breakfast, played ukulele for a while, went to the library at about 12:30 p.m. Been on the go. I work on this a little bit every day, kind of during the weekdays anyway. Trying to sort out what radar was like before Pearl Harbor Day and what it was like after. And some of this is clearly after this conic scanning concept, I think, came up sort of somewhat after Pearl Harbor Day. They came up with the disc antenna or dish antenna and then so on. The parabolic reflector antennas came up. Anyway, they were called mattress antennas. These contraptions look kind of like a mattress that went on the front of the planes. This is your Yagi antenna. People know what these are, kind of your rooftop aerials. I want to say about this. These were quite big and occupied like the whole nose of the aircraft. Here's like the nose of it, and they were called stag antler antennas because they look like the antlers of stags or deer or bucks. And they didn't rotate or anything like that, so they couldn't really pick up too much and so on. So that conic the disc was invented, and then there was an invention that allowed for much smaller antennas too at about the same time, just after Pearl Harbor Day, and so on. Some key people involved were this Watson Watts, who was doing research on weather radar, thunderstorms, and so on, but was instrumental or just really kind of famous for a comment that he made about the German death ray and so on. I still haven't quite figured out that. I tried to read about that thing on Wikipedia, and I've yet to kind of really get a good mental picture of what the Germans were up to with their death ray. And this Bowden fellow person raised pulse power to over 100 kilowatts. Trying to get conversational in all this, and it's taking its time. There's about my second or third week that I've been working on kind of radar history in World War II area. This is like after Pearl Harbor Day, the dish antenna. I don't think I'm going to find in my notes the details about how it got smaller. There was the invention of this cavity magnetron was a big thing. That's what I was showing you back here. And these, I didn't mention last time that's kind of what the modern day microwave oven uses to create the microwave heat inside, and they were used in radars and so on. So anyway, that's kind of all I want to say here, that this conical concept. This was after the war, so we're kind of working towards this, and I just mean to research it. I kind of understand the basics of this, where this is an aircraft, and there's just a scanning that goes on, and so it's like when it kind of scans in this area, it would be kind of down here, and when it gets to like 180, it would be like up here. When it gets to where the airplane is, it would be like way up here, and so on. If I just kind of without the airplane, it would just I think probably just go on like that. But because the airplane is there, it does that big dip, and it shows that the airplane is there. Anyway, that's about it. I got kind of off to not so much a tangent, but I was just trying to kind of research even way before Pearl Harbor Day, and there was a article about the Maya's canoe. Somebody had just fairly recently discovered a Maya canoe in a pond inside of a cave at the bottom of it that's preserved, and it's so anyway, I was kind of wondering about collision avoidance and Maya canoes, and I really wasn't finding too much on that. I think they were actually maybe more for ceremony and not so much for transportation. I took a class on that, and that was kind of what my professor was saying, is that they sort of they were like these flying canoes that had to do with sort of their funerary rituals and so on. Anyway, and the first boats were like a million years ago, and so on. So, but there's not too much on collision avoidance, or I'm not finding it just yet. I have watched a lot of videos on aviation and was kind of trying to find my place in it. I'm really not on easy street by any means. I'm really sort of in the poorhouse, and I've seen people talk about the living the dream of flying airliners and so on, and I'm not really living the dream. I'm kind of almost more the nightmare myself, but I'm trying to work my way towards a much better life and so on. So somehow I got this guy on my mind, this Alaska bus guy, and that's kind of this guy kind of wandered up into Alaska and moved into some vacated bus. There used to be a Fairbanks transit bus that was just sort of like out in the middle of nowhere and so on, and was living in that, and ended up starving to death, and so on. It's kind of just trying to this has kind of more to do with me just trying to find viewers that are interested in something and so on. And I was kind of thinking in terms of, well, I mean, if this guy had a YouTube channel, he'd probably have a lot of people that were interested in that and so on. And there's certainly a lot of people interested in airline pilots showing their airliners and things like that. And I'm trying to kind of figure out what what I do that's interesting to you all and that kind of thing. So anyway, that's going to be about it at this time. This is just too fine detailed, and I'm too tired to kind of really get into the nitty gritty there. The one thing that I really wanted to tell you, just to sort of sum up, is that there was kind of like two things that happened at once that really made a big difference in radar, where it wasn't even like radar first, but they went from these big antler antennas to a smaller antenna by some sort of invention, which kind of escapes me right now. And then the magnetron thing that brought microwave into it. It went from radio frequency band to microwave band, and that really made a difference, and so on, and really genuinely became radar, and they were picking up targets and so on. So anyway, and there's a lot of interesting stuff about the night flyers that were flying in World War II. I guess it started at maybe late World War One and into World War II, where the missions were in the dark, and they were even doing ILSs in the dark to unlighted runways to avoid getting shot down and things like that. But they were using, I guess, radar in the process to like find air traffic and so on. So I'm working on that. I guess I don't know exactly what's motivating me to be so interested in this, but there's going to be probably at least one more on this subject before I sort of change on to something else. So anyway, I hope you like this. I don't know exactly again where I'm going with this. It's neat stuff, though. I think personally, from a pilot's point of view, from a inventor's point of view, and so on. It's good to know kind of where things started and so on. Anyway, please thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, and so on. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Have a good day. CEO Jimbo out.